Good morning, dear student. Once again, welcome in our science class. Now, as you know that from the chemistry portion, already we complete the two chapter, first chapter and the second chapter. So, in that we already discussed about matter and about the purity of matter. So now today we are going to start the new chapter that is about the atoms and molecules. Means here in this chapter we are going to discuss about the atoms and molecules, and we also discuss about how the atoms, what are the basic properties and what are the basic characteristics of atoms and molecules, how the molecules is formed. So as you know that from the ancient time, the Indian and Greek philosopher is known for what the unknown things. Means they are from the beginning engaged to find out the new things and it shown to the world. So around the 500 BC, the Indian great the philosopher Maharishi Kanad. Have you heard about the name Maharishi Kanad? So he said that all the things, means whatever things you observe in your surroundings. So we see that in our surroundings we see the many things. Means whatever the things you use for writing the pen, notebook, table, chair, this everything, all in our surroundings, rock, wood, this all kinds of the elements or the compound that we discussed in the previous chapter, like water, like carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, wood, gold, silver. These all things are water. These all things are matter. And as we know that this all things, this all universe is made up of water, matter, and this matter is made up of water, the small particle that is called the atom. For example, if we are taking an example, it's very clear and very easy for us to understand about the atoms. For example, we are taking a building, and you know that the building blocks of that buildings, means for a house, the bricks, you know, eat. This bricks is the water, the building blocks of a whole buildings. Means by joining the single bricks, we form a large building or we construct a house. So here means, for example, our body, means the plant body or animal's body or human being body, this all composed of what? Cell. Means you can say that the smallest unit of life is what? A cell. So here this all the things, means all the matter, all this matter in the universe, this all the matters is made up of what? Atoms. Okay, means you can say that the atoms is the smallest particle of all the matter. It is the smallest building block unit of matter. So what is atom? Atom means what? The smallest unit of, or you can say the smallest building block of matter. And this atoms, it maybe exist in a free, or it may not exist independently. It may or may not exist independently. So Maharishi Kanad also said that this all the things in this universe are all these things are made up of the smaller particle that is called a Parmanu. That is the Hindi version of atoms. Atoms in English, and in Hindi we say that Parmanu. Okay, and matter is in Hindi, matter is known as what? So he said that, Maharishi Kanad said that all the things means all the things found in our surrounding, that is a matter or a padarth, and that padarth is made up of water, the small tiny particles or smaller unit that is known as water atoms, or you can say that that is Pramanu. Pramanu means what? Smallest particles that cannot be further divided. So atom, this all the matters is made up of what? Atoms. And how can you define the atoms? Means it is the smallest building blocks of elements. Elements simply already we discussed pure or maybe in the form of pure substance or maybe in form of compound or mixtures of the solution elements, or you can say the matter, which may or may not exist independently. So you can see that it's the smallest unit of, or you can say the smallest building block unit of matter is known as atom. And suppose that Mercy Kanad said that if we are taking one piece of matter, suppose that I am taking the piece of chalk and I continually divided it into the smaller pieces. So finally that stage will come when it can means that a piece of chalk cannot further divide it. Means that stage means one limit may be there. After so many times when we divide this chalk piece, finally we find the small particles or the smaller unit that further cannot be divided. So that last stage, that the smallest particles, that last limit where we find the particles, that is called water. That particle is known as the water atoms. Okay, and atoms may be exist independently or may not exist independently. So another great philosopher of India, this is first this is the explanation given by the Indian philosopher, that is Mahasi Kanad. Another Indian philosopher, that is Pakudha Kottayam. He also went further and more steps than the Mercy Kanad, and he said that there is small particles combined together and forms one more new forms, that is called molecules. Means they went further one more steps than Mercy Kanad, and he explained that there is small particles or atoms combined together and found in the various form, which is known as water molecules. So you can say that molecules means water. It's a combination of water atoms. When the two or more atoms combine chemically together and form the bonds, that is what? That forms molecules. So this is the difference between what? Atoms and molecules. Atoms means it's the smallest building unit of all the matter, and molecules, when they combine two or more elements chemically and forms the new bonds, that is known as what? Molecules. So I hope you this the introductions about the this atoms and molecules is clear for everyone. Yes. Now next we discuss more the two law, that is laws of chemical combination. So now we are next going to discuss about the laws of chemical combination. So now here next we are going to discuss the laws of chemical combination. So here there are the famous volunteers Lavoisier and Joseph Proust. They formulated two important laws in the chemistry that are the, you can say, that the base of chemistry. Here we are going to discuss the fundamental things about the chemistry. Means it's clear your you can say the base of chemistry. So watch this all things very carefully and try to understand. So now in this the laws of chemical combination, there are the two different laws that formulated or established by the Lavoisier and Joseph Proust. So that first law, that is the law of conservation of mass. So this is the first law of conservation of mass, and the second law is what? Law of constant. So these are the two laws which we discuss in detail here. The first law, the law of a constant, law of conservation of mass, and second, the law of constant proportion. So now first law, as before going to start or discussing this two important laws, as these atoms, as I told you, the atom is the smallest particles, and this atoms is the smallest particle which can take part in the chemical reaction. So before going to start this, now we are discuss about the chemical reaction. Means what is the chemical reaction? So chemical reaction means when two or more elements combined chemically together and form new substance or form the new bonds which have a different property, that is called what? Product. So chemical reaction means when the two elements or two species, two substances combine together chemically. So this you can say that when two or more elements, or you can say the substances or species combined together chemically. Or react with each other and forms substances, as that is known as a product. So chemical reaction means when the two or the more elements, or you can say the substances or species combine together chemically. They combine together chemically, means not just like the mixtures. Means when we mixed, suppose that you mixed the sand and salt and sugar and the sand, these all things, so it forms what? It forms only mixtures, means there will be no chemical reactions between them. But here they combine chemically, means they form a brick, means breaking of a old bond is taken place and new bonds are formed due to reaction, due to chemical reaction. So that is known as what a chemical reaction. So now first law comes to again on the first law, the law of conservation of a mass. You know what is conservation? Conservation is what means it's a the always in a universe mass become what constant, means there will be no you can say that the statement, this law is state that mass neither be created or nor be destroyed, or you can say the matter neither be created nor be destroyed. So this is the statement of the first law. What is it? I'm going to write here the statement of the first law. Now this is the statement of this first law. First law means the law of conservation of mass state that matter neither be created nor be destroyed. Means in the universe we cannot able to create the matter and we are not able to destroy that matter. So matter neither be created nor be destroyed. Means you are not able to create the matter or you are not able to destroy the matter. So this is the statement of this first law. So by taking one example, simple. For example, if we are taking the two substances A and B, and after reaction it forms what? A, B. Simply this is the chemical reaction. This is the chemical reactions. These are the two species. This species is known as what? Means whatever the species that takes part in the chemical reaction, that is called what? Reactant. So A and B is here what? Reactant. And this AB, this form after the reaction, that is known as what? Product. It is more clear by taking another example. This is known as what? Product. These two species A and B. A and B is known as what? Reactant. And whatever the resultant we find out after the reaction, whatever we get the resultant or a product or the substance after the reaction, that is called what? Product. So here we are getting what? AB, and AB is what? Here product. So now take another example. Shall I rough this all? If you want this note down. These two laws, this all the statements are given in your textbook. So now I am going to rough this one. If you want, note down in your notebook. So we are taking another example of reaction. For example, hydrogen react with the oxygen. Okay, it forms water 2H2. Now this is what? Hydrogen. This is what? Oxygen. And this is what? Water. So now this hydrogen and oxygen is known as water reactant. And whatever things we are getting after the reaction, that is called a product. This is called water product. Means whatever the resultant we are getting after the reaction, that is called a product. And no matter that it may be found in the different forms. Suppose that here you say that this hydrogen is a gas. This is a gas and this oxygen is also gas, and the water is found in the form of a liquid. So means what? After the chemical reaction, the species or the substance or element which take part in the chemical reaction, it lose its identity and new substance is formed. So that type of is called reaction. So now main point is that so means when according to this first law, the conservation of mass means here whatever the mass we are taking, suppose that we are taking a 1 gram hydrogen, okay, and 8 gram oxygen. So mass of reactant is equal to what? Mass of reactant here is equal to what? The mass of hydrogen plus mass of oxygen, and mass of hydrogen is what? This is 1 gram. And this is 8 gram. So it is you can say the 1 gram plus 8 gram. So that is equal to what? 9 gram. And mass of product is what? Mass of water. So according to this law, how much mass we obtain after the reaction? By the adding of this two, the mass of hydrogen and mass of oxygen. So if we add this is equal to also 9 gram. So it's proved that the mass of reactant, this water, we can find it after the reaction, that is 9 gram. Okay. So here this law is totally proved that. It's totally proved that mass always in universe conserve, means matter neither be created nor be destroyed. So whatever amount of mass we are taken the form of reactant, that is always equal to the mass of a product. Suppose that here if we calculate the mass of water, so mass of hydrogen is water 1, and here how much atoms? 2 atoms, and it is 2 molecules, so it's multiplied with the 2, means totally 4. There are the 4 atoms of hydrogen is here. So 1 into 4 makes 4 unit. And the mass of oxygen, how much? 8. Mass of oxygen atom is what? 8 unit. So 8 into 2 means 2 atom here. How much atom is here? 2 atom. This shows what? The number of atoms. And this shows what? Molecules. Means this hydrogen is atoms, but this shows that this whole is what? Water molecules, and this number is shows the how many numbers of molecules. So here we getting 2 molecules of water. So oxygen, this is 2 into 8 means 16. Sorry, this mass of oxygen is 16. 16 into 2 is 32. So how much we are getting here? Totally 36 gram. Now here 2 into 4, again 4 into 1 means 4 plus oxygen. This is for water, this hydrogen, and also for this means this multiply for all. So 2 into oxygen means 2, and mass of oxygen is 16. So 32 plus 4, so it is also 36 gram. So it's very clear that the mass of reactant is equal to mass of a product. So I hope you clear this law. We are taking one more example. for this we can better understand there will be there is an activity given in your textbook. Now simply we are taking one conical flask. This type of flask is taken and it is we have taken solution in this that is called water. This is solution Y, and we are taking one test tube. This test tube. This test tube contains another solution, and it is tied with the water thread, and we close the mouth of this flask with the help of a cord. Okay, this solution is known as water X. So now before at the first step, in the step first, we measure the mass of this all the arrangement. Now next, what happened? By tilting this test tube, slowly mix this the solution present in this test tube with this in a conical flask or in a wire. So after mixing both things, suppose that this solution and this solution both mix together, and then after in a step second, if we measure the weight of this, then we can find it that the weight of this solution equal to this one after mixing this both solution completely. So means what? Here whatever the mass we are taken in the initial step or in the first step, that is equal to the second step. Means after mixing the mass is equal to the after the result. Means after mixing both solution together. Suppose that this is a 5 gram, this also 5 gram. So whatever solution we are getting here, that is equal to what? 5 plus 5, and that is equal to the 10 gram. So here means our resultant is what? 10 gram. This reaction is given in your this activity is given in your textbook. You go through that one. One more example is also there. The reaction between the barium chloride and the sodium sulfate. Okay, so that forms what? Barium chloride and sodium sulfate. When the barium chloride and sodium sulfate react, it forms what? Barium sulfate and sodium chloride, NaCl. Okay, so one more example. If suppose that calcium carbonate, when this calcium carbonate strongly heated, it decomposed, means it's break down into water, CaO plus CO2. So whatever the, it is water product. It is what? Product. So strongly heated and is decomposed into the calcium oxide, which is known as a quicklime, and this is carbon dioxide. So the mass of calcium carbonate is equal to mass of calcium oxide plus CO2. Okay, so this proves the first law of constant conservation of mass. Means matter neither be created nor be destroyed. Means whatever the amount of quantity of substance we are taken in the form of reactant, that always equal to the product. Maybe there will be change in the forms that we see in a case of water, when the water is formed from the hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. So initially oxygen and hydrogen are in a gaseous form, but after reaction it forms water liquid, but the amount of the liquid that is equal to the amount of hydrogen and oxygen, that are equal. Means mass neither be created nor be destroyed. Means there will be no loss of any mass. Only this mass is converted totally into product. Okay. So now next we are going to discuss about the law of constant proportion. I hope you are clear. This is clear for everyone. Everyone, I think you understood better. Okay. There are the many examples given in your textbook. So just you go through that. Then you can easily understand all these things. So now this is the statement of a second law of constant proportion, and it was formulated, or this law was given by the Joseph Proust. This is given by what? Joseph Proust. This first is formulated by the volunteer whose name was Lavoisier in the 1774, I think, or maybe 1734, I think. So this was given by the